That's right, just a couple of days. Infinity War is almost here. NERDSoul. Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta, holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today we're bringing together hip hop with some geek. And with that, we're going to have to bring up a little something from Marvel Studios. Avengers Infinity War is coming out, and people want to know everything. What's going to happen? Who's going to happen to this? What's going to happen to that? And I want to know too, but I wanted to step back for a second and say, what have we learned? You know what I'm saying? Not only have the Infinity Gems or Infinity Stones been getting picked up, but Marvel has also been dropping little nuggets and dropping jewels throughout the phases so that we can learn something. So I wanted to do a quick video, maybe not too quick, but talking about what we've learned, like what I've learned, and then I want you to let me know down below what you've learned. You know what I'm saying? There's so many lessons inside these movies. We love to pick them apart, so why not? Now, before I get started, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a live reaction and review for Avengers Infinity War right here on this channel at 3 o'clock, of course, Pacific Standard Time. But without further ado, let's talk about what we learned. And I'm going to get started with phase 1. And of course, the first film that started it all off was Iron Man. And the lesson for me in this movie is be careful about people in your circle. Make sure you check up on them. Make sure you vet them, because the person right next to you could be the person plotting your downfall. You know what I'm saying? Obadiah Stane, he was basically a surrogate father right there with him. I'm your dad. I'ma, hold you and mold you into the next, I've got your back. And he the main one trying to get you killed. That's all I'm saying. Watch your back and make sure that you vet the people that are right there with you, because you never know. I'm just saying, you never know. So let's go on and move on to, of course, The Incredible Hulk. This is a movie that I think dropped a lot of nuggets, but my main thing from this is stop trying to control something that you know can't be controlled, or stop trying to control something that you don't even understand. They're trying to, of course, recreate the super serum. They got Banner, they want to test him and all this stuff because they want to make more of him, but they want to be able to control them. And my thing is, you don't even understand this. So how do you think you can even control it? It's not yours to control. Everything doesn't need to be controlled, and everything don't need to be messed with. See, that's why you're in this problem now. That's why you got Abomination running all over them streets, killing people, throwing people left and right. But I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. That's all I'm saying. That's what I learned from Incredible Hulk. So now I want to move on to, of course, Iron Man 2. Now, a lot of people might be like, Iron Man 2 might not be my favorite. There ain't nothing I can get from that. There ain't nothing going on in that movie. Remember, from this movie, we learned that there is always someone waiting to take your place. Always. Look at Hammer Tech. Always looking to take your place. And think about this real quick. You don't know how far they'll go to take your place. So I'm just saying, leave that, put that in your head. Put that in your head for right now and keep it. That's another jewel that you just dropped. Just keep it for you. That's all I'm saying. Just keep it for yourself, because you never know. You never know. Now let's get into our boy Thor. That's right. He's big. He's got muscles. He's got the hammer, and everything's great, right? Well, not exactly, because he learns a lesson and we learn a lesson. There's a couple in here, but I think I'm gonna touch on one. Be careful on who you call and who you accept as family. That's what I'm gonna say. There's lessons in here about leadership. There's lessons in here about, turning away from things and coming back to things and finding yourself. But there's a lot of people, especially when I was coming up, people would call each other cousin, and this is my brother and what everything. Yo, be careful who you call family and who you accept as family. Because Loki is someone that, had been brought in. Thor had accepted him as a brother, still does. But look at how he do you. Look at how he still does him. I mean, I know they tried to make him like the approachable villain, but don't trust Loki, man. I'm just saying, don't trust him. Look at what he did to his daddy and his brother. I'm just saying, look, be careful and be very, very methodical about who you choose to call family. Now on to Captain America, the First Avenger, which I really enjoy. It's just one of those movies that I expected to not like, and I ended up loving it, still love it. The message here is you have to be a hero here first. You need to be a hero in here. See, everybody think they want to be a hero because they got guns or they got muscles or whatever. You got to be a hero here first. Keep that. That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is have your heart right, have your mentality right, and then you can be a hero. See, everybody want to go and, make suits. Everybody want to go get muscles first. Get this muscle right first, and then you can be a hero. And the last on the list of Phase 1 movies, of course, is Marvel's Avengers. It changed the game. We never thought we'd ever see it, but through these post-credit scenes, everybody was extremely hyped, and we finally got to see these guys come together in a movie that we thought we'd probably never ever see. And the message here is for me, it's pretty simple. What I learned is, don't sleep on unity. Don't sleep on unity, because in this film, you see they're all like, I'm gonna do this myself. I got this. I'm gonna do this. I'm on my own. I'm a one solo person or whatever. And it took all of them working in concert to make this happen. Don't sleep on a group. And I know sometimes it's hard to be in a group because, everybody might not rub you the right way. And just leave that alone. It's a family show. All I'm saying is you might not gel exactly how you wish you would with every single member of your group. But that doesn't mean that a group is not necessary and is not important to be able to accomplish your goal. So that's my Phase 1. That's what we learned. We dropped mad gems. Guys, let me know what you've learned. But we're going to move on to, of course, Phase 2, which starts off with Iron Man 3. And I know how people feel about the, oh boy, about the Mandarin, but I want to touch on the Mandarin for the things that you could learn here. And this is a society thing. This is a world thing. Phantom threats can be very real. The Mandarin, of course, as we see, when they tried to fix it because fans were mad, they tried to make the Mandarin real. But I'm gonna just say, in the context of this movie, the Mandarin wasn't a real person. He was a manufactured, symbol of terror. But that terror was still very real to the world, to the news, to the people. So be careful of these phantom threats, because these phantom threats can gain power through fear. So be careful. We got to make sure to expose phantom threats in our society, in our world community, internationally, whatever. We have to expose these things that people are scared of that don't really exist, or might have someone behind it pulling these strings, because if not, you can be in a world or a ball of confusion. So let's go on and stroll over to, of course, Thor: The Dark World. Guys, I know what you're thinking. You said you learned all this stuff. Well, what you learned from this? I know you ain't gonna learn nothing from this. Yes, there is still something to learn from this, which is, remember that if someone is willing to take a step towards you, don't be scared to take one step towards them. In this movie, we find that Loki is broken up about his mother's loss, and is willing to open up to helping Thor. And Thor could have turned that help away, but he didn't. Now, I know the end of the movie, we're not gonna go there, all right? But that unity, that reconnection did help them accomplish their goal of kind of getting over the hump, which is Malekith, and don't do it to your detriment, but of course, don't be too scared to accept help. Don't be too scared to ask for assistance, because that assistance for that time, I'm not saying there's some people that are in your life for a season, or in this case, for a movie, but don't be afraid or don't be scared to either ask for help or accept help, because they might be the perfect piece of your life, of your soul, of your psyche that you need at that moment. So yeah, don't sleep on that. So we're gonna move on to Captain America: Winter Soldier. slam dunk movie. I was like, when I saw the first trailer, I was like, oh my God. But the film was on point. And there's a lot of stuff in here, you know, political intrigue that I really wanted to get into. But I wanted to say that this is a movie where you learn to be careful who you put your trust in. Be careful who you attach your skills and your knowledge and your resources to. In this case, we're talking about Captain America working with S.H.I.E.L.D. And of course, S.H.I.E.L.D. as itself, like Nick, Maria Hill, Phil Coulson, who's passed at this time. Well, we think it's passed, but we ain't gonna go to the show. It's movies. So Maria Hill, stuff like that. That part of S.H.I.E.L.D. still exists and still is working to try to be protective or whatever. But opening yourself and tying yourself to that brand essentially tied himself too closely to, of course, Hydra. So you got to make sure that you investigate, make sure that you know and vet, just like we were saying before, as much as you can, because it didn't take much to peel back these layers and find out that Hydra was here. It's just that nobody was looking for it. Now, of course, Nick Fury saw something he thought was kind of funny, so he had to get that information going. But anyone else could have did that research and found that stuff out. And it didn't seem, at least from the movie, as the movie unfolded, it was like, yo, they've kind of been hiding in plain sight. It didn't take mad research to find this out. It's just that, of course, S.H.I.E.L.D. became this organization and people just blindly trusted. Like, oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. is the good guys. So there's no reason to worry about S.H.I.E.L.D. Always make sure that when you tie yourself to a brand, like Captain America tied himself to the brand of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm just putting real world terms, make sure you know everything that's going on. Even if you got to do some research, just make sure you know what's going on, because you never know. Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy. Another movie that I was like, what? We're getting that? Yeah, we're getting Guardians of the Galaxy. And what we get to learn here is that sometimes, just sometimes, the worst of us can be the best of us. And what I'm saying is, you know, you got kind of like a Magnificent Seven kind of thing going on. You got this ragtag team, and all these people are kind of like outcasts or looked down upon in their societies. And just don't sleep. Just because someone doesn't look like they're valuable to you or to us as a society, you never know. They might have something that's more valuable than you could ever imagine. Then we got, oh yeah, Avengers Age of Ultron, which I know there were a lot of people that were, a little down on. I still think it was solid, but I know a lot of people that were like, they weren't feeling this one. They didn't think it did what it was supposed to do. This movie is, in my case, a lesson in hubris. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And just because you are this smart doesn't mean that your vote outweighs everyone else's. And what I'm talking about is, of course, Tony Stark. He's like, yeah, we're, scientists, we need to do whatever. No, you need to consult your group. We are a group now. You can't go do your solo mission, all right? This is something that's gonna affect everyone. So you can't just make these decisions, oh, I screwed up, made Ultron, well, let me do it again. Now, of course, Vision worked out. I'm glad Vision worked out. You glad Vision worked out. But once you decide to be in a group, once you decide to work as a unit, you need to work as a unit. And that's the thing that we learned here, is that working outside of the unit, hiding things from the unit can, of course, fracture things on a larger scale. And speaking of scales, we're going to shrink that scale down, of course, for, I tried, man. Ant-Man. We're going to talk about Ant-Man, and boy, another movie that I was like, who cares? But it did end up being fun. I don't know if I'd say it's like the best of the best, but I think it's solid as a rental. You know what I'm saying? I think it's funny. It's fun. It's got some cool stuff in there. What I learned about this movie is that your redemption might not come packaged how you think it will. And let me phrase it like this. Of course, Ant-Man comes home. Well, he's not Ant-Man yet, sorry. But he comes home, he's, out of jail. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna get a job, because that's what redemption looks like to me. Just because you think redemption is a job over here, whatever, you don't know where life is going to take you. So be prepared and be open to what's coming, because his redemption came through being Ant-Man, and he was just like, yo, I'm stealing stuff. All right, well, he did try to work it like Dairy Queen or something, like a coffee buck or a coffee Starbucks or a coffee bean or something. It ain't really work out, or Krispy Kreme something. And then he ended up, of course, redeeming himself through heroism, which is something that he probably never imagined he'd be doing. So just keep your eyes open, because your redemption, your raise, your change in life, whatever it is, might not be what you expect it to be, and maybe it shouldn't. Now, before we move on, I know we're talking about a whole gang of movies. We're talking about 10 years, and we're gonna get to phase 3, which is my favorite phase, Wakanda Forever. But of course, first, KURO brand is gonna help us pay them bills. Oh yeah, check that link below. Hats, shirts, hoodies, all that jazz. And once you find something you like, of course, cop it. So we are here. We did phase 1, phase 2, and now we're gonna get started with phase 3. So we're in phase 3, and I'm excited because we're starting off, of course, with Captain America Civil War. There is so much in this going on, but I wanna break down just one piece, which is be careful what you sign. Be careful what you sign, because what you sign could put you at odds with the people that you love. And what I mean is, in this case, they have to sign, the document to be, in the accords, and, whether you're going to work for the government or not. And of course, the argument is that, yes, the government seems good, but we don't know what the government might choose, might change, anything like that. So we don't really know how far or how crazy the government might get when it comes to us. So be careful what you sign, because what you sign could take you away from your friends, could take you away from your family, could take you away from what you hold dear as your personal values. Make sure you read through everything. Make sure you are sure that once you make this move, once you make this decision, that you're able to live with it. And let's get into Doctor Strange. Boy, Doctor Strange is one of those movies that had me at odds for different reasons, but we're not going to talk about the outline effects. We're just going to talk about the film itself. I want to take a step with me. Second chances. Once we get a second chance in multiple places in this movie, but those second chances don't always come around. So when they do come around from you, you have to seize them, you have to follow them, and you have to work for them to be able to kind of like come to fruition 100%. Because that second chance isn't always, how should you say, guaranteed, and it might not come in the package that you want. But if you ever do get a second chance, whether it's with being able to use your hands again or being able to run time back again, make sure that you use it to your benefit, because it may not happen again. But let's get into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which to me is a real good one. I'm always down for father-son stuff. And this is the lesson in here is, of course, you have to be able to recognize people that are there for you, people that are in your corner. And this one is one that I learned that, of course, continue to keep your eye on who has your best interest at heart. Yes, you have this vision, this fantasy of who your real father was. And who your real father is amazing. But that doesn't mean that who your real father is someone who cares about you. Because see, someone who is amazing and cool and wonderful doesn't mean they have to have your best interest at heart. And then, of course, the one who actually raised you might not be in the best package and wrapping, but they have always cared for you. They have always stuck by your side. So remember, of course, like he says, he was your daddy, but he was never your father. Just be prepared through life to recognize people that might be in the best packaging, but not always have the best interest at heart. And then also be able to keep your eyes out for people that might not be in the best rapping, but they have everything that you need emotionally, psychologically, physically, all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your eyes out, because you never really know what's coming, and you never know people's motives sometimes until the last minute. So let's get into Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, could this be? Yeah, it's phase 3, which is a movie that teaches us that just because it's a little guy, or just because this is a smaller organization, doesn't mean they're not dangerous. See, Stark Tech or Stark Industries came in, was like, this is ours, we gonna take it all, and we just gonna squeeze out the little guy. Don't sleep on the little guy, because every now and then, the little guy can put some hurt on you. You know what I'm saying? They thought that, this little company, we ain't even worried about them. We ain't even tripping on them. And look what happened. It ended up, crushing one of your planes, blowing up your stuff. Now, of course, on a larger scale, they probably could have squashed that issue. But look at the trouble, and look at the danger that Vulture put the city and put the world at large in. I mean, he was selling these weapons. Who knows who has their hands on them now? Also, being able to openly attack a transport for Stark, that you gotta have some stones for that one. So don't sleep on the little guy, because just because he's little, you never know. Which takes us to Thor Ragnarok, which the lesson here for me is everything that glitters ain't gold. You have this vision of your father, all this gold, beautiful Asgard stuff, and you find out that the foundation of all this gold is a lot of blood, a lot of bone, a lot of hurt people, a lot of destroyed families, relationships, and all of that, as well as societies, just to have this. And then that person will then turn around and act like they were always this great and wise king. So, just be wary of history, and be wary that everything that glitters, it ain't gold. And last but never least, let's talk about Black Panther. I'm gonna end this by saying what I learned from this movie, outside of all of the records it broke, outside of all of the precedents that it set. I wanna say that this is a lesson of making sure that we reach out and reach back. Reach out to our people, reach back to our people across the ocean, across state lines, across country lines, whatever it is. Make sure that we're able to help people that look like us. And help is on a different level. You never know. They might need emotional help. They might need monetary help. Whatever it is, be ready and be willing, because you never really know who could use, or who you could use, or who could use you. You might be in service to someone someday. They could be in service to you. But if you have it, then give it. Because we learned that Wakanda had it, but they didn't really give it. Now, they did have their reasons for not giving it, but they had the ability. And if you have the ability, that's all that's necessary. If you have the ability, do your best and give back, or give to, or give up, or give in service. Be able to be there for someone. So guys, that is the end of the list. There's a ton of movies, it's 10 years of movies, phase 1 through 3, so much going on. But guys, I want to know what you learned. Hopefully you've been in the comments telling me what you learned from all the movies. So holla at me, I'm holla at you. Down in them comments, let's talk about Marvel phases 1 through 3, the movies, what you've learned, and get ready for Avengers Infinity War. Of course, tomorrow I will have my live stream reacting and reviewing in a non-spoiler way the film Avengers Infinity War. So check me out then. But before I bounce, I'm going to tell you guys to hit up ThatNERDSoul.com. That's right. Check me out right there. All my videos from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, and all that. Then hit up shop.ThatNERDSoul.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt player. Don't forget to get one for them playettes. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that Nerd Soul. That's right. There's no better way that I can show people that you like what you are watching. So, LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please be good to yourselves. Please be good to each other. And remember, only a couple more days to Avengers Infinity War. See you there. Peace.